Hey y'all, it is me. Stop, drop, and roll on. Oh shoot, it always helps to have the earplug in. I hope there wasn't a lot of rustling. Y'all know how I do. I look. It's just me being me. Anyway, um, I'm here at church. We had a women's fellowship this morning, a women's fellowship breakfast to be exact, and I really enjoyed it. And I mean, it was just like it was good. I'm gonna put it like that. And it was about the story of Hannah, and one of the lady that shared was she was really good and dynamic and stuff like that. And I'm hoping this isn't rustling too much because Pierre went out. You know, I had tore up my other earbuds, and Pierre went out and bought me something that I'm thinking only a true Martian can use in their ear. I ain't never had no earbud with all of this here configuration and all of this stuff. And I just asked him what kind of, he act like I got donkey ears or something. Well, I mean, I do have pretty good sized ears, but I'm just like, man, for real though? So I am having to get used to these things, and oh my gosh. And he put them in, well, they comfortable to me. And I was just like, yeah, because you got ears built for them. But, you know, I got a delicate ear canal, and you done went out here and, okay, y'all, the phone died. And it probably died because the phone has probably picked up on some things about me. Look, I don't know what smartphone means for real, okay? This thing might be clocking me when I'm asleep. I don't know. But, anyway, I'm not going to talk about these earbuds. I'm just buds. I'm just going to be grateful for them. Because the ones I had was, even that cat was looking at me like, how long in the earth? How long are you going to put tape on the things? You know, can we not? Ink was looking like, you know, I'm willing to do without an extra meal for you to have some earbuds. That wasn't the truth. But anyway, what I'm saying is, I came to the women's fellowship this morning breakfast, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. And it was talking about the story of Hannah and how basically when it got down to bare facts and bones, and you know, these folks was making, just really kind of mocking her, how she just went ahead on and just took that thing straight to the Lord, to God, and he handled the situation for her. Okay, if you don't know what I'm talking about, First Samuel is the book. Start at verse 1 and read on, okay, and you'll understand what I'm talking. You'll be brought yourself up to snuff. And so anyway, I was just looking at that, you know, and really listening and identifying not only with the story, but also identifying, I mean, on a personal base level, also identifying with the way that the speaker was approaching it. And she was talking about her infertility issues and stuff like that, and the stuff that she went through, and how that root of bitterness had came up in her, and she had to like kind of start changing the way that she was looking at stuff. And then she was talking about her current day struggle of trying not to and refusing to allow the root of bitterness to manifest itself in her life, because she has had to come to the realization she's an only child, and her mom and dad are aging, and they are letting her know that they're aging. And so she's already just kind of getting herself, you know, she could feel it, another root of issue coming up. And she just was like, you know what, I'm going to take those same principles that I applied to when I was infertile and now have 3 kids over into how I, you know, the situation that is looming, you know, on the horizon. And it's kind of fitting because my neighbor just got through texting me, and his wife went out of town for the weekend, and he was texting me saying, and my neighbor is like 80 something years old. I talked to him and to his wife. They both text me, okay? And so he said this is kind of like a premonition of how things are going to be if she's not here. And I texted him back, and I was like, you know what, we're not going to go there, because she is, you just have to believe that she is going to come back. Now, boy, she just went like 4 hours up the road, a 45-minute airplane flight, to visit her sister, and the rest of the story is that what if the Lord come back, like it's 11:18 per my time, what if the Lord come back at like 11:21? You ain't even had to experience that, but yet we want to take emotion and start focusing on stuff that really don't matter. Okay then? And it's a lesson that I have had to learn over the years. Now what today's lesson, what not today's lesson, but what I'm going to talk about today is tact. Turn around time. And that, I mean, you hear tit for tat when you grow up, well, that's a totally different thing, And tit for tat usually is in relationship to fighting, verbally or physically, whatever. Okay, then usually verbally. And but when I was growing up, my grandmother and my great grandmother, and now my mom, I mean, we knew what the I would say what the definition of it was in the context we were using it in. Let me put it like that. But when you go out in other circles, tat means turnaround time. Okay? And so I last Sunday got a clear message from the Holy Spirit was just kind of like talking to me, and it was just kind of like, yes, it's speeding up, ain't it? And when I got in the car, Pierre came out a little bit earlier, and because he had told me to go ahead and get my ticket for the women's breakfast, and he came out to the car, and he was cooling the car off. And was coming to the car, and I was crying when I was coming to the car. And when I got in the car, he could just like, why are you crying? What's wrong? And he was like, they ran out of tickets because it was limited. And I was like, no, they didn't run out of tickets. And I showed him my ticket. He said, well, why are you crying? And I told him, I said, because I didn't buy my ticket. I got up there to buy my ticket, and the lady looked at me and slid the ticket across the counter. And I hadn't given her my name. I hadn't given her my information for charging or nothing. I said, and she told me that somebody had already bought my ticket. She didn't tell me who. She just told me that someone had already purchased my ticket, and for me to take it and be sure and attend and enjoy myself. And I just stood there with my mouth open like this, and then I just busted out crying right there at the counter. And the lady was just standing there smiling and kind of laughing at me at the same time. And I couldn't do anything except for just like that, And so fast forward, here we are, Saturday morning. But when I got in the car, maybe I fast forward, so hit reverse. Sunday last week. When I got in the car and Pierre asked me what was wrong, I said turnaround time. And he said, well, what do you mean by that? And I said, it is getting faster and faster. I said, stuff we do, whether it's not so good or whether it's within the will of God, the response to what you do is coming back faster and faster. I said, and this is how we know this thing is wrapping up, because it's just like the sower, the reaper, overtaking the sower, so to speak. And I just told him, and he said, well, what? I said, remember, I said, when my hindquarters hit this seat, I said, the Holy Spirit just started just telling me, when you did X, this is why this happened like this. And I can tell you about X. X was a month ago, we had a Bible school camp at church. And I am aware, and I have always been aware, that I don't have children. It wasn't because I didn't want to have children. It just wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. And it's a lot of stuff. I'm not going to go all off into them details and all of that stuff. And a lot of things, and God has over the years shown me, look, I got you, and it's all right, because you find out this is something that's not going to occur, or if you do, it's going to cost you, either you or both of y'all. Then the next thing that happens is, who's going to want me? What fella, people be getting married because they want to have children and excess. Who's going to want me? And then God took care of that. Because it wasn't a secret. I did not hold that back from Pierre. We talked about that before we ever even really, for real though. And we had a conversation, and that's all I'm going to say. And so, but it still, as a female, it's a part of you that always this urge will come up. And now I'm in grandma stage, and all my friends and family members my age, they already got grandbabies. The kids are grown, and all of that stuff. And, so I'm kind of going through a second level of it, but I don't have the hurt that I had the first level of it, because at that point, number one, time has passed. Number two, life has happened, and I totally understand God being merciful to me at the same point in time. And also at the same point in time, it has freed me up to be able to help people who might not be able to do something. And so it is what it is. And I say that statement because it's kind of like a catchphrase on a whole lot of levels. So we had this camp, and it had a cost associated with it. And I kept telling Pierre, when they started talking about it, I said, I just feel led to, pay for a baby to go. I said, it's a kid somewhere that really desperately wants to attend, and it's a parent attached to that kid that they just can't do it, And I said, I do you mind? Can I do it? And he was like, go ahead on, because he knows, And so I went up, and took care of it, and they were like, well, we never had this happen before. And I said, well, that's okay. Just find out how I can do it. And then that's what I want to do. I said, what the number one rule is, I don't want them to know who I am. I just want to take care of it. And if you hear of, or if someone comes up and asks you, you'll know who this is supposed to go to. I trust that you will. I pray that you will know who this is supposed to be given to. And all I could think of after I did it was, God, you know what? You something else. You just let me, get in on stuff, even without all the other stuff that goes along with it. And that's how I choose to look at it. So when I hit this seat last Sunday and got in the car, the Holy Spirit just kind of let me know. He said, this is because of that. And all I could think about, and all I heard was, the turnaround time is getting shorter and shorter. I enjoyed myself this morning, and I'm grateful to God. And all I'm going to leave y'all with today is, be mindful of the stuff you say. Be mindful of the things that you do. As my grandmother and them used to say, it's going to come back to you. And it's not all, don't associate it just with negative stuff, because God does not, he's not in debt to anybody. He's a debtor to none.